Welcome along to County Antrim for the 2018 John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally. The magnificent Torhead makes a return to the rally this weekend, winding its way along Antrim's dramatic coastline. It's the perfect road to fall in love with rallying all over again.
The Ulster Rally is both the counting round of the Irish Tarmac Championship and the British Rally Championship as both series return after their summer break. The big news is that Cork's Keith Cronin, the four-time British Rally Championship winner and the one-time Irish title holder, who is due to be the top seed for the Ulster Rally in his Hyundai i20 and who is bidding for back-to-back victories in the event, is withdrawn. Also out due to work commitments is the second seed Sam Moffat. Sam Moffat was at the top of the leaderboard in the Irish Series and had a 1-point lead from brother Josh with the Ulster and Cork 20 rounds in October to come. The BRC is currently led by Matt Edwards from North Wales in the Fiesta. He's seeded at 4. Edwards has a 20-point lead from last year's winner Cronin. So now the top seed is the Fiesta of Monaghan's Josh Moffat.
Bit of pressure on you?
There definitely is. We're at the front of the road now, so look, at least we're going to get a clean road ahead of us, but there's a lot of quick guys there behind us.
Desi, the championship hasn't been that kind to you so far?
No, it hasn't been a great year. We've had a bit of bother and we broke down Donegal, which sort of put our championship up the left. But look, that's the way it is. Sometimes it goes like this, but no, we're still upbeat and we're happy with our pace all year. We've been thereabouts with all the boys, so no, we're on for a big push here now, closer to home.
Torhead back on the menu this year. Will that make it more difficult for you, or is that something you're relishing?
Torhead's a fantastic stage. I mean, everybody loves driving it. I've never done the wet before, so that'll be a new experience if it stays like it is. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait.
It was a damp start to this year's John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally, which returned to the classic Antrim stages after an absence of 5 years, with 11 special stages across the 2 days of action. The opening day sees 5 stages. First up, Glen Dunn, which is run twice before the cars head north to the classic Torhead stage, which is also run twice. Squeezed in between is the one run on the opening day over Cairn Castle, which is also the longest stage on day one, covering just short of 12.25 miles.
We're at the start of stage 1 here, and due to the inclement weather, there's plenty of wet tarmac around, which is going to make for some epic battles this weekend.
With no Keith Cronin or Sam Moffat on the start list, Josh Moffat, the number 3 car, was the top seed in the Fiesta. Moffat had no problems in the opening 2 runs, but was put off a little by a little slide here on stage 3, which illustrated just how treacherous the roads were. And after the opening 3 stages, the Monaghan man held a 5.4 second lead. England's Rhys Yates and co-driver James Morgan took the early lead in the Skoda Fabia R5, and despite the conditions, the Chesterfield man was having a good fun run, describing Torhead stage in particular as mental. After the opening 3 stages of 5 on day 1, Yates, who had led after 2 stages, was now second on the road to Moffat. It was a cautious approach, as British Championship points was the main aim for the Welshman Matt Edwards, who didn't want to get embroiled in a risky battle for the overall win. Edwards was actually down in 6th after stage 1, but by stage 3 was up to 3rd now, 8.5 seconds off Moffat's lead. Sadly for local driver Desi Henry, who was pushing for a podium position on the opening 2 tests, didn't see out day 1. Henry crashed on that very slippery right-hander on stage 3 to end his involvement in the Ulster Rally.
Yeah, so we basically got caught out here in a very shiny bit of tar. We slid wide and hit a telegraph pole here, and we've ended up damaging the steering arm of the car, so unfortunately that's our day over today.
wasn't only Henry who was in trouble. Johnny Greer, looking to improve on third overall at last year's event, was second after two, less than a second off the lead. However, as he was being slowed on approach to Henry's accident, he lost control of the Fiesta and crashed out of the event.
We were coming up the hill here, and you probably see the road is quite shiny and quite slippy, but we didn't expect it to be as bad. We come up the hill, and Liam was there to slow us down. And as soon as we lifted off and went anywhere near the brake, the car just snapped sideways, and we got up the hedge and broke the steering arm. Disappointing, but we'll get it patched up and go again, I think.
With Henry and Greer now out, it left Josh Moffat as the leading Irish contender, with Scottish driver David Bogie, with local navigator Johnny Rowan on the notes, avoiding any drama, who's up to fourth now after 3 runs. There are rumours that Bogie may contest the Irish Tarmac Championship in 2019. Another of the local drivers is Marty McCormack, and another of the BRC regulars. McCormack felt he was too ambitious with his setup and lacked confidence on the faster, bumpier sections. After 3 stages, the Skoda Fabia driver was 6th, 29.7 seconds off Moffat's lead. The Scottish-Welsh pairing of Alex Laffey and Patrick Walsh said they had no problems to report over the opening 3 stages, as their Ford Fiesta slotted into 7th, 39 seconds off the lead, with 2 stages to run on day 1. No Eugene Donnelly in the Ulster this year. The 2-time winner of the event gave his Hyundai i20 to the up-and-coming talent of Philip Allen, the son of the late great rally champion Glenn Allen. After 3 stages, Allen was 8th in his first run in the car, 1 minute and 11.8 seconds off the lead. Outside of the Irish Tarmac and BRC runners, there's also the national class, and after 3 stages, the Nationals for modified cars was being led by the OMA driver Alan Smith in the Mitsubishi. Second by a mere 0.3 of a second. After 3 was the current national champion Kevin Eves, who switched from his Corolla to a Mark II Escort and was quickest on the opener, but he spun on stage 2 and was happy with second after 3.
6 left, through grid 100 to 2 left. 6 left, through grid 100 to 2 left, gravel.
So, Kevin, have you settled into the Mark II?
Yeah, we're getting in. That's a nice stage in there now. It's kind of flowing and technical, so I think we're still only 0.3 behind. I don't know what way that stage went, so we're happy out.
Camillus Bradley hasn't completed in quite a while, so was very cautious on the opener, but he was happy with stages 2 and 3 and was within touching distance of Eves, just 3.2 seconds off the Nationals' lead. This, the father and daughter crew of Frank and Lauren Kelly, who were second in class after stage 1. However, their Escort developed engine problems and they retired after Torhead. Bit of an ignominious end, the pair towed back to service by John Bonner. So 3 stages down, 2 to go on day 1 of this year's Ulster Rally, which has run since 1976 and which has been won in the past by the likes of Penty Uricla, Stig Blomqvist, Jimmy McRae, Malcolm Wilson and the late Bertie Fisher. For Josh Moffat, a sticking throttle on stage 4 caused concern, but it seemed to rectify itself by the end of the stage, and with Greer and Henry out, he was caught in 2 minds whether to keep pushing for the overall win or play it safe and secure maximum Irish Championship points. A similar mindset for British Championship hopeful Matt Edwards, who moved up to 2nd overall after a clean run over the day's final 2 stages, and after 5 tests the BRC leader was 4.4 seconds off Moffat's lead. Rhys Yates, the early leader of the 2018 Ulster Rally, reported no dramas, but he backed off a little and slipped to 3rd by the end of 5 stages. Still well in it, however, just 5 seconds off Moffat and 0.6 of a second off Edwards. David Bogie and Johnny Rowan also had no problems over the last 2 stages on the opening day, and after 5 the Scottish driver was 23.9 seconds off Moffat. Marty McCormack and navigator David Moynihan were much happier with the setup of their Skoda over the last 2 tests on day 1. They lay 41.6 seconds off the lead in 5th. For Camillus Bradley, the cobwebs were well and truly blown away now, and his Ford Escort was setting the pace in the national category, and after 5 stages he held a 4.1 second lead. Donegal's Kevin Eves was still adjusting to his new car, but in 2nd place overnight. Eves was in line for top points in the Irish Modified Championship.
Press jump and 5 right 80. We press jump and 5 right 80. crest, mid 80, 5 left on crest, hug 80, 5 left on crest, hug now 80, 5 left 40.
John Bonner confessed to being too cautious in the treacherous conditions, and his escort was fourth in the national category after 56 seconds off the lead. Kyle and Dale McGettigan were also in the hunt for Irish National Championship points, and after 5 stages the pair were just over a minute off the lead, held by Camillus Bradley in their escort.
Got slippy, 80 down, push 2 left, 170 down, push 2 left, push, 170 down, you're 1 left on the trees, you have 150, they have 4 left. You have 150, there's your 4 now, you see it. 4? Opens, yeah, 4 left, opens, then 3 left.
In the R2 category for two-wheel drive, the lead was held by the Norwegian driver Steve Rockland, with the Welshman Di Roberts navigating their Peugeot 208. William Crichton and Liam Regan were second in class in their 208, 15.3 seconds off the lead, but they were the leading Irish tarmac crew in the category. Kyle White was another of the local drivers in the R2 class, and after 1 or 2 moments on the opening loop, he went off on stage 4, ending his Ulster Rally. Fourth in R2 were son Jordan Hone, the driver, and father Paul Hone, the navigator, who are progressing well now after a difficult debut season in the Opel Adam R2. They were flying on Thor Head as we go in car with the pair.
And 1 right past the arm pull, flat 1 left, a small flat crest 40, left over crest, big jump at the red, 150, 2 left, tightens over crest, tightens here, 60, and 2 left long over crest bump, and max 3 right in, 3 left and late over jump, watch the 3 and late over jump, 60, flat 1 left long, only 40, hairpin right, tidy it up a bit.
No luck for Marty Gallagher and Dean O'Sullivan in their Peugeot 208, went off on stage 2, ending their involvement. This is the only all-female crew in R2. Locals Amy Cox and Karen McCormack, niece of Marty McCormack, who ended day 1 fourth in the B8 class in the Skoda Fabia. They seem to be enjoying the whole experience.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Hoping for a good weekend. It's a 2-day event, so there's plenty in it. So yeah, we're looking for enjoying the stages and for a good finish.
And now Karen must run in the blood, Marty McCormack's niece.
Oh yes, it's good to have rallying alongside him. I've done a few rallies with him before, but it's nice to be in with Amy and see what we can do.
The reigning British ladies champion is Nabila Tejpower, with Richard Bliss on the notes. She was running in her Peugeot 208 in the ultra-competitive R2 category, but was some way adrift after day 1. On to the Group N, or ITRC2 class, the showroom category. William Mavety and Martin Connolly have scored well in all rounds so far, except for Donegal. A good result here could see him secure his second successive title. Nick Barnett, with navigator Martin Brady, was eager to get his first points on the board after a disappointing debut season in the Mitsubishi, but was over 12 minutes behind Mavety after 5 stages. With historic championship leader Owen Murphy absent, Andy Johnson was looking to close the gap at the top, and he led the class after 5 stages. Ernie Graham was looking to get his season back on track and get to grips with his Bertie Fisher liveried BMW M3. So the top 5 overall after day 1. Josh Moffat led from Matt Edwards, Rhys Yates in 3rd ahead of David Bogie, and Marty McCormack in 5th.
It's been a day of mixed fortunes with plenty of thrills and spills along the way. We're hoping for a little bit of sunshine tomorrow, but I doubt we'll get it. All the action from day 2 right after this break. Day 2 of the John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally takes us away from the coast, but we're still by the water. This time we take on the roads and lanes around Lough Neagh, the biggest freshwater lake in the British Isles.
Overnight leader Josh Moffat started the second morning with a scant 4.4 second lead after a wet Friday on the North Antrim coast. And with Desi Henry and Johnny Greer crashing out and with no Sam Moffat in the field, Josh was on his own in the Irish Tarmac Series, but he would now have to think about winning the event outright. BRC leader Matt Edwards didn't have the absent Keith Cronin to worry about, and he too was perhaps looking at the overall win, mindful of the fact that BRC points were the ultra important point at this stage of the season, as we caught up with the rally title sponsor John Mulholland.
John, rallying, it's an expensive sport. It's an expensive event to run as well, and without sponsorship like yourselves, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, I've been involved in motorsport for 34 years, and it's nice to give something back. Our three brands that we represent, Skoda, Ford and Hyundai, three fantastic brands, are all well represented in the World Rally Championship. So I think it's a great fit for our business, and we're delighted to be involved. And it's nice, you know, I'm standing on the periphery today, Johnny, my son's out, and it's nice to give something back to a sport that's given me so much over 34 years.
Day 2 of the Ulster Rally kicked off early on the Saturday morning with the first run at Langford Lodge, with a further 4 stages to the west at Lissamuck and Doraville. In all, there are 6 stages in all to be run on the second and final day. The Ulster Rally is now in its 42nd year, run by the Northern Ireland Motor Club, and it's the only rally to host the major international rally championships in UK and Ireland. After 8 stages in the opening 3 on the final day, Matt Edwards took over the lead. He put it down to a last-minute decision to go brave with his tyre choices, and now he led the field by 8.5 seconds. Josh Moffat was in second, but the leader of the Irish Tarmac class, he didn't want to throw it all away now by going for the all-out win, but could the Monaghan ace resist the competitive urge on the closing stages? 3 to go, less than 10 seconds to make up now. Rhys Yates retook the overall lead after stage 6, but he went for a soft compound tyre for 7 and 8 in expectation of rain, which never came, and he slipped back to third after 8 runs, 14.3 seconds off Edwards. No problems for David Bogie, holding fourth in the Fabia. He was actually fastest on stage 8. He was 23.3 seconds off Edwards' lead. Not such a good run for Martin McCormack. He spun 3 times, uncharacteristic for him. It damaged the front of the Skoda, and the intercooler was also damaged, so he decided to call it a day.
You spin me right round, baby.
I tell you what, I couldn't tell you the last time I've spun on a rally, and I've done 3 in a row there, so I think it's a sign to go home.
Alex Laffey was beginning to lose ground on the top 5. Moments like this was not helping his cause. Sadly, Philip Allen didn't finish the event in his first run in the Hyundai i20 as he went off the road in stage 7. In the national category for modified cars, Kevin Eves was now getting to grips with the Escort. He retook the national lead and was 21.4 seconds ahead of Camillus Bradley with 3 to go.
6 left over crest, bump 60. Caution crest bump, hairpin right seen. Caution crest bump, hairpin right seen. 40.
Problems on the opening stage of day 2 saw Bradley lose over 14 seconds to Eves, and it would be a big ask now for him to reel in over the closing stages. Day 2 saw the junior class take to the stages for the first time, but Gary McNamee was the only registered entrant to make the trip to Antrim, and he could wrap up the junior championship just by getting a Civic to the finish line.
Yeah, first time doing the Ulsters. It's only the second rally I ever done in the north, to be honest with you. I've done the Easter stages earlier in the year, so the roads are quite different up here. They're a lot muddier and shinier and stuff, but it's all part of the game.
It wasn't easy, but Gary McNamee did manage to bring the Civic home in one piece and claim the Murray Motorsport Junior Championship for 2018. Andy Johnson had to settle for second in the historic class, but he closed the gap on Owen Murphy at the top of the historic leaderboard. Father and son crew, Ernie and Will Graham, were delighted to get back to winning ways and finally master the BMW.
We've got the M3 now, finally, I think, tamed at least for one rally. We had a really good battle with Andy Johnson. He was a brilliant benchmark, and we got here in the end.
Nick Barnett and Martin Brady finally got some scores on the board, with second in the Group N class. Meanwhile, William Mavety and Liam Regan enjoyed their Day 2 stages to romp to victory and claim the ITRC 2 title for the second year in a row.
Today now was a lot better for us than yesterday because of the championship. We had to keep the finish in mind, and it was hard to commit when the weather was so changeable and pick tyres and try and get a good rhythm. But today now, with the more settled weather, we were able to commit harder and push a bit. So no, it was good crack today.
In the R2 two-wheel drive class, William Crichton slipped to third in class over the day and finished in 13th overall. Steve Loughlin held the lead until the penultimate stage. He finished second in class and 11th overall in the 208. A great effort on day 2 saw Josh McGernan close to within half a second of the class lead, but his Fiesta succumbed to mechanical trouble on the final test. Jordan Hone took over the class lead on stage 10. He finished 10th overall despite a spin on the final test.
Right over long flat crest, bumpy, okay, 40, flat one right and the flat one left, bump past the house, 60, flat one right and over small bump, slowing, 2 left tightens, into late 3 minus, come away back, 100.
The last stage we had a big moment. We spun and lost about 10 seconds. We were facing the wrong direction at one point, but now we got back on the road again and we got around, so now happy.
In the national class, Wicklow driver Jason Roach got more points for the modified championship, and he and Ben Taggart were the 5th best registered crew. J.R. McDade maintained 3rd on the leaderboard with another good showing in the escort. 5th in class on the day, John Bonner holds 2nd on the modified leaderboard. Kyle McGettigan was 5th in class and 9th overall in Ulster. He could yet have a big say in the destination of the modified title. Alan Smith was 3rd in nationals and 8th overall. Good showing, but Smith is not registered for the championship. A good return to form for Camillus Bradley as well, who was 2nd in the nationals and 7th overall. Bradley is unregistered though for national points. Kevin Eves was 6th overall, and his 3rd national class win of the season puts him in a great position to retain the modified title with 1 round to go. That's Cork in October.
Brilliant car, had handled Savage and Ryan and all the boys at MPL looked after it. Perfect, so we didn't miss a beat all weekend, so we're happy to get this far.
And so to the international top 5. 5th, Alex Laffey and Patrick Walsh in their Fiesta, but over 3.5 minutes off the winner. 4th, Rhys Yates and James Morgan in the Fabia, twice the overall leaders of the Ulster. A mishap on stage 9 dropped the pair out of the podium positions. 3rd, and a solid run by the Scot David Bogey. Will we see him contest the Irish Championship next year in the Fabia or 5? He would be a welcome addition to the series. Josh Moffat kept his head to settle for the runners-up spot, but took maximum Irish Tarmac Championship points. He now needs to start the Cork 20 to win the title for the first time. A perfect second day for the Welsh crew. Matt Edwards and Darren Jarrod, who took over the rally lead and scored top points for the British Championship. With Keith Cronan's season looking like it's over, Edwards is in pole position with 3 British Rally Championship rounds remaining.
We didn't expect, we obviously came looking for maximum BRC points or as close to that as we could get, and weren't really considering a good result overall on the rally, to be honest, but to actually take the Ulster Rally win as well is fantastic.
It's been a tough weekend, definitely happy to come home with the second place and first in Irish Tarmac Championship, so that was sort of the main thing for us.
That's it, vital points for both of you.
Exactly, yeah, it puts us in a good position in the championship, so that's the main thing after a long 2 days.
And on to the ceremonial finish in Castle Gardens. And to the victor of the spoils in the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship standings, Josh Moffat now just needs to start the Cork 20 to claim the title for the very first time.
At the end of 2 days of challenging stages, it's a win for the Welshman Matt Edwards. Josh Moffat having to settle for second, but he'll not be too disappointed as he strengthens his lead in the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. That's it from the John Mulholland Motors Ulster Rally 2018. See you next time.